This one, they very sad. If presidents where they elect in want make Nigerians happy, go carry everybody along. See, all the people will be saying in bring comments where they want to do this inauguration or when select for this party 20, May 29, it don't make sense. It shows say this man he not get anything to do with the Igbos. But can I watch this one?
Across the country, the National Vice President of Ohanes Indigbo Worldwide, Chief Damian Okeke, described Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a tribalist who has Igbo phobia in his veins, adding that Tinubu inherited the Igbo hatred from the incumbent president Muhammadu Buhari. Rufai, you know, the first time I heard that phrase, Igbo phobia, was from Nigeria's former President Olusegun Obasanjo at that one-year anniversary of Charles Chukwuma Soludo. But I guess everyone is sensitive at this point. I mean, it's an inauguration committee. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I mean, everyone is sensitive at this point, and it has to be said. Yes, we've also raised this. I think it was when Mr. Yalawo was here. We did raise it with him, and he said, oh, it's just a very small committee just for the inauguration ceremony. That the bigger committee, a lot of Igbos, will be included. So it still remains to be seen. But what we keep calling for is diversity. I mean, there's something called federal character in this country. There's a need for diversity across board. But the problem has always been the fact that the Igbos have been greatly marginalized. And I'm happy you made mention of Olusegun Obasanjo when he said that, and he said, oh, he was reprimanded for appointing an Igbo Minister of Finance, an Igbo Central Bank governor. He said, you're giving the economies to Igbos. And he talked about Igbo phobia. We shouldn't have a country that way. It's not done. And that's why a lot of people still believe that the civil war is not over. And that's why we should be careful about what we do to one another. So the Igbos must be shown that they're included in the grand scheme of things. And any spirit of inherent Igbo phobia should leave, because we can't forget what happened in Lagos in that election.
Absolutely.
We can't forget how it now turned into another case of what Igbos want to take over. And they said a proper Yoruba man, just because mother was Igbo, they said they called him Chinedu. And this from Lagos. And that man was even more from Lagos than other people that were saying he's not from Lagos. So we can't forget all of that. But for this country to work, we need peace, we need togetherness, we need tranquility. Igbos must be included, just as everybody too must be included in this country, because we all own this country together. Yes. And nobody is more Nigerian than others.
Absolutely. Uru, a constitutional lawyer, is praying the court prohibits President Muhammadu Buhari, the Attorney General of the Federation, and the Independent National Electoral Commission from swearing in the president-elect. Owuru insists that President Buhari has been usurping his tenure of office since the Supreme Court has not determined his petition filed in 2019, challenging the declaration of Buhari as the winner of the 2019 presidential election. Dr. Bati, it appears that there is nothing that we will not see in Nigeria. I mean, this politician, he's also a lawyer.
Well,
I mean,
number one,
where we started
Mr.
from.
Ambrose Owuru is bringing a case before the court, the Court of Appeal, to say, oh, I'm seeking a prohibitory injunction to prevent the inauguration on May 29 because of an incident in 2019. Yes. And he's saying that the court, did not, the Supreme Court did not determine the matter. And therefore, President Muhammadu Buhari, who will be completing his term of office in another 30-something days. He says he's a placeholder. He's an interim placeholder. Well, on the surface of it, what will an ordinary man, a reasonable man, think? Is his case not already academic? So what relief will he be seeking from the court? What relief does he expect the court to grant him? Oh, that, okay, Buhari has done 4 years since 2023. He, Ambrose Owuru, should now be allowed to do another 4 years. There are some cases in court that are considered frivolous and vexatious. And when a matter has been rendered academic, the court will so pronounce. But without prejudice to what is released that is seeking, I think also this is also the point that people make about lawyers. Lawyers will collect any kind of brief, even when the matter is patently, unreasonable to a right-thinking member of our society.
Absolutely.
So he wants to go to court to stop May 29. Okay, fine. Every citizen under the law can go to court. So when you get there, it's the court in its wisdom that will then decide whether this is a matter. And don't forget, our courts are not just courts of law. The Supreme Court in particular is also a court of public policy. So even from the point of view of a public policy, you didn't take part in the 2023 election. You were not a candidate. You are not saying you are challenging, you are filing a petition. No, you are filing a petition. You are asking for an injunction over election of 2019. So did he not sleep on his rights, even if he has rights to claim?
All right.
This, to me, is the way I see it.
I thought so too when I saw the petition, Ayo.
Okay, so I did a little digging, to this man, because many would think he's just come out of of hiding. And I found out that he actually had pursued this matter at the Supreme Court, then went back to the Federal High Court, and I'll tell you what Justice Eko said about him, and then went to the ECOWAS court to pursue this. So this is not the first time he's doing that. He's been pursuing his mandate for a long time. I still haven't found out how much he was able to gather from the votes in 2019 to deem himself as winner, rightful winner of the elections. But here's what Justice Inyang Edem Eko said, and he threw out his case on 3 major grounds. One was that it constituted a gross abuse of court process, as you mentioned, Dr. Bati, statute barred, and was also an affront to the supremacy of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, because he went to the federal court after the Supreme Court had thrown out his case based on technicalities. He was still not satisfied. He went to the ECOWAS High Court. So that hasn't been decided. So I wonder what would be in this particular suit now that's different from what he did in 2019 that would not make him, perhaps, Dr. Bass, is there a fine for, or can you?
No, the court can fine you for wasting the time of the court.
Absolutely.
Yes, you can be fined for wasting the time of the court.
I don't want to be subject, but I recommend very strongly.
And asking for the withdrawal of the cases filed by the Labour Party. In a statement, the acting National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party says its legal team got a hint that Apapa and his men have advanced their plot by approaching all the tribunals where numerous candidates lodged their election petitions arising from the general election. Lamidi Apapa and other suspended members are accused of a larger plot to frustrate the Labour Party's anticipated victory at the tribunals.
The main issue here is, your faction, you're raising an alarm that the Lamidi Apapa arm is going to court, trying to frustrate the efforts of Peter Obi, attempts to withdraw all cases of Peter Obi and, of course, the Labour Party from the courts. But we're hearing, the latest just before we came in, that the Lamidi faction is actually saying they're not even aware of any such attempts. So where did you get
Thank you so much. Number one, I would like to tell Nigerians, given this opportunity, to disregard whatever Comrade Irabwe Anselm is saying. On 18th of October last year, 2022, Irabwe was suspended by the party, and 6 months exactly, 18th of this April, NEC, confirmed that suspension and recommended him for total expulsion from the party. So I wonder why Irabwe will always continue to call himself the national leader of the party. It can only happen in this part of the world when an organization where you are working with have asked you that they don't want you again and you insist that you must serve them. It can only happen in Nigeria. If Arise TV says they don't want your services again, you don't need to go around parading yourself, saying that you are still an analyst or a news person with Arise TV. That is what Irabwe has been doing. He has been writing a lot of long story letters, telling, miscommunicating to Nigerians. But that's by the way. I would like to tell Nigerians to ignore Irabwe Anselm. If he wants to be the national leader of the party, there are processes and procedures. For now, he is no longer the national leader of the party.
If truly he's not a member, and if he's truly, not of any importance? Why are you bothered about a man who's not your member approaching the courts to withdraw cases?
I'm bothered, and you should be bothered because
no.
Nigerians.
I'm not a member of your party, so I shouldn't be bothered.
Misinformed.
No.
So
let's also not misinform Nigerians. I'm not a member of your party, so I shouldn't be bothered. So I'm asking the questions. If you say a man who's not a member of your party is trying to approach the courts, then it shouldn't be any kind of worry for you and members of your party.
No, it worries us because somebody cannot just come and begin to misinform the public and say that.
That means he's still influential, even as you say he's not a member of your party.
What do you call influential? And if Arise gives him that popularity and publicity for him to tell Nigerians that he's this, he's that, it calls for attention. And that is why I'm here to disabuse whatever he may have said yesterday.
Right. So what
Secondly,
you're saying, so that we can maximize the few minutes that we have, you're saying that Ansel Meragbe stands expelled or suspended from the party?
He has been recommended to the convention.
All right, but
for
he's not
total expulsion.
Recommendation. That's where it's at.
But NEC have confirmed his suspension, that he remains suspended.
Right. So the Lamidi
yes, we got that hint. In fact, that was why Nigerians started shouting when these men hijacked the party. Of course, it was a hijack because I'm a member of the NWC. I am not suspended, and nobody restrained me. But they came into the party, hijacked the party office, broke into the party office without due notice of a meeting. We have a WhatsApp platform for the NWC. There was no notice of meeting. Before that, their hijack happened. And 5 of them came. And if you read the Labour Party constitution, before you remove the national chairman of Labour Party, you must go through the constitutional process, which says that the NEC must sit. And for that purpose, but to tell you that these guys have somebody that is drumming for them behind the scene, they came that particular day, their achievement was distributing positions to themselves.
Who do you think is beating the drum for them behind the scenes?
Of course, Nigerians are suspecting APC to be doing that. Of course, I can say it's APC because Arabambi, who they brought back, Arabambi has been expelled by the party in Akure convention. He was just given a messy ground, brought close to the party, and again he has been suspended because he has continuously done the same thing. So for them to come that day, the same day that they hijacked party office, that same day they distributed position to themselves, that same day they recalled back people that went through due process to be suspended. They recalled them back that same day. And Arabambi was a man seen on national TV raising the hand of Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State during the campaigns. So why will anybody not believe that it's APC that is drumming this?
What could be the motive on the part of the APC?
The motive is that Labour Party, as you all know, as Nigerians can believe, have done well in 2023 general election. The aftermath of 25th February election went beyond their expectation. Of course, it went beyond 4 persons tweeting in a room, as they called us. So the achievement is what they are trying to fight and blow behind the scene.
I like to come back to how it started because it's quite important that we get a sense of who the real members of Labour Party are. And now quickly here, whether a man raised Dapo Abiodun's hand, it doesn't follow. If politically speaking in Nigeria, we also saw Nyesom Wike, who is a PDP member, do the same with the governor of Lagos State.
You could see the consequences with his party.
So back to your party quickly here, because your party should be different. And quite a number of young people in your party, you inclusive. What's the genesis of this crisis in Labour Party? And if I may ask, why after the presidential election?
The genesis is that, Labour Party has been there as a political party. After the passage of Not Too Young to Run bill, I joined the party. In 2017, I joined the party, and in 2019, I ran for election. And I've taken time to understudy. And I discovered that most of these guys doing this hijack now are people that believe in status quo. They never believe in progress of the party. But Julius Abure, since assumption, have taken the party to another level. This is the first time Labour Party ran a very strong election in Nigeria. You could prove me wrong if I'm wrong, please. This is the first time that Labour Party is producing 36 House of Rep members, producing 8 senators, producing a president in waiting as far as I'm concerned, producing a governor and another governor in the coffins. Enugu State will still come to bear. So before now, all they do is do business, transaction, collect money from people, and they don't run an election.
So
but Julius Abure...
That used to happen.
That used to happen. And Julius
Within
Abure
the
have
Labour
come.
Party itself?
Not now. Before now.
before-
That is what they do before the emergence of Julius Abure.
Right.
And these guys have now seen that new breath of fresh air have come to Labour Party, and they still want to bring Labour Party to those floor level where they will remain to be a transactional political party. But we, the younger generation that have joined the party, have said no to that. And that is why you are seeing total departure from some of those things they do, and that is why some of them are now, if a man
But
believes in the
your-
philosophy of the
your
party,
arm of the
why will the
party-
person say that somebody else,
Right.
different, took the party to court? Why will you now be fighting your national chairman because somebody else took him to court? It calls for a questioning.
What about the allegations of
Because for questioning.
fraud and mismanagement of funds on the part of allegations against Julius Abure? Of course, is that even being looked at all to discover the veracity otherwise
my
of
dear
the
sister,
claims?
as of today I'm talking to you, there is no court of competent jurisdiction that have indicted Julius Abure. What actually happened is that during our campaign, at the heat of the campaign, you know the Labour Party was the only political party that visited virtually all the senatorial zones in Nigeria. We took our campaigns to senatorial zones, not just states. So Julius Abure was so busy. I was also in that campaign train. He was so busy. When police was inviting him, he's a public figure. He can't run away from Nigeria. He replied police severally.
So what's the
that he
leadership?
will
What's
come.
the leadership
The
of your
moment
party saying now?
he
Because
came, he
running,
visited police.
we're running out of time. What's the leadership of your party saying specifically? Let's start with the presidential candidate. What's the conversation from him to ensuring that everyone should decide and pursue a united cause, especially at the tribunal?
One thing you don't have to do is when you discover a Judas among you, find a way to push him aside. Because definitely it's going to be a clog in the wheel of your progress. If you see what we did in Asaba, it was all-inclusive net meeting. You saw all the state chairmen were there and state secretaries. All the elected members of the party were there. PO was there. Senators, elected senators were there. And you saw that the party is one. So what these guys are trying to do is to satisfy the payment they were made.
Who made the payment?
They
All right,
will have to tell
very
us
quickly,
sometime.
two key points before we let you go. Ansam Eragbe, who claims to be national youth leader of your party, says he actually holds the key to Peter Obi's victory at the court,
tribunal, yes.
you know, at the presidential
sister,
tribunal.
The man that had pin code to Peter Obi's success ran for Senate. He didn't win his polling unit. I mean, if I have a solution for somebody, okay, as a pharmacist, if you want to test a drug, you apply it somewhere. Where has he applied that his pin code? He didn't apply it in his own election. He ran for Senate. He didn't win his polling unit. Even his ward chairman, I know him. He doesn't know him. He didn't see Eragbe. Eragbe didn't campaign in his ward. And this is a man that had pin code for a presidential success.
Right.
How can you believe that?
Very quickly, the outcome of the Imo Labour Party convention. You know, what can you tell us
As
about
far as
that?
we know,
Right.
Labour Party had one primary in Imo that produced Senator Atan Achono. That is what I can say for now. The other speculations that I had that there were primaries in Imo State, two were done by this same faction. One Kali and Eragbe Anselm conducted one. Arabambi Publicity conducted another one, which means that even between them, the factional guys you are mentioned, even between them, they are broken already because something is driving them, which is money.